Thank you. On the government's announcement earlier this week about AI growth zones, Secretary of State, there's a big link there potentially to the use of nuclear power in the future. The industry is waiting for two really important things which were long delayed under the previous government. One is the publication of an alternative routes to market strategy, and the second is EN7 and the planning framework that would allow that. In my view, I don't think they're spending review linked announcements, and I'd be really keen for those to be published as soon as possible to give confidence and certainty to investors.
Look, let me just say something, just sort of by way of opening on nuclear, and then come to your questions. I think I really want to just sort of put on record that we see nuclear as a really, really important part of the electricity mix going forward. And when I was Secretary of State last time, I wanted to drive forward nuclear, and we published a list of sites, and I think it's really sort of important. And it goes back to my point earlier about the scale of electricity demand that we are going to face. So that's the first thing I just wanted to say. Secondly, obviously, part of this for us is about driving forward Sizewell and SMRs, the most immediate things, if you like, on our plate. I think I want to sort of reassure you on both of those things, that they are very much sort of on our radar. On EN7, I'm hoping you won't have too long to wait. And on alternative routes to market, again, we want to drive it forward as quickly as possible. I said in my speech to the Nuclear Industry Association that my door is always open on these issues. It does go to the issues of AI that you've raised, and the work I'm going to be doing with Peter Kyle. But our door is open. We want to drive this forward, and we recognise the role that nuclear can play.
Thanks. And then on looking ahead and goals, earlier on in this session we talked about the goals that are in place for solar and wind. The last government had a goal, I wouldn't say much of a plan, but a goal around 24 gigawatt of nuclear by 2050, and the current US administration has a 200 gigawatt nuclear goal for 2050, using the same logic that we have for clear goals to give confidence to the market and the supply chain. Is the government committed to a 24 gigawatt goal? Is it too low? When will the government make clear its intention on the nuclear mix by 2050?
Look, we share the spirit of ambition behind that goal. I want to sort of put that on the record. I think if I can be sort of diplomatic about this, I think it's perhaps easier for government to say, here's our number for 2050, without really a plan to get there. And that's what sort of slightly concerns me about some of what the last government... I think Boris Johnson at one point, I know he promised lots of things, but I think he promised a nuclear power station every year, or maybe it was every month or something. So that takes me to my next point, which is order of business for us is to drive forward. So, where my focus is Hinkley. Obviously, we need Hinkley up and running. Sizewell, SMRs. We've got the Strategic Spatial Energy Plan coming out in 2026 as well. You're absolutely right that we need to, beyond the 2030 clean power targets, we need to set out wider ambitions, and we will definitely do that. And as I say, I'm completely with the ambition on nuclear. I think it's got to be kind of properly grounded, properly evidence-based, and there needs to be a proper plan.